It's Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. Time for you to expect something wonderful.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. It's Mark Husson. This is Mark Husson's Astrology Hour coming to you live October 14th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. It's 9 a.m. where I live. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you can join us in the chat room today. If you're new to the show or kind of just a little curious about if you want to come and just kind of tune into what people are saying, go over to 12listen.com, or you can use the app, and where it says something about our socials, like look at our socials or something. It's very British. You tap that and you can go right to 12radio.com. And in the left-hand column, you'll see a chat link, and you can click chat and you can come right to the Facebook page. It's a private page. If it's your first time, you can be invited in. You simply click a button and we'll allow you to come in for sure. And I am going there right now to see, and of course, Jay is on the ball. Jay is, yeah, if y'all don't know who Jay is now, then you really are new to the show. But Jay put up the banner. Jay is an advisor at 12Listen, extraordinary advisor. He also hosts several radio shows. I think that's got trimmed down a little bit lately, but he is also the producer of many of the live shows of 12 Radio, because he's so multi-talented. Thanks for putting up the banner, Jay. And if you come into the room and you do see the banner, you can actually click the comments. It says there's several comments. And then once you click that, you go to the top of that comments page where it says most relevant. Click that and click all comments. I mean, it's not obvious, right? You have to kind of know those things if you're new to it. When you do that and you click the all comments button, you see extraordinary people emerge like Lynn Goldberg. Lynn, how you doing? I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so glad you didn't take a balloon and leave the country in Albuquerque, because that would be so tempting. Just leave anywhere. Up and away in your beautiful balloon. Hey, Renee, welcome here. Tara, turkey time. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada, right? Happy Thanksgiving to you, Tara. I love that you're in Canada. It's also Indigenous Peoples Day, aka Columbus Day, used to be formerly known as Columbus Day. So I hope everybody is sharing the love from our Canadian neighbors, and you don't need a national holiday to have it be Grateful Day, right? Thanksgiving Day. So thank you. Hi, Audra. Welcome. Judith is in the house. Thanks, Judith, for being here. Hi, Denise. Welcome, everybody. Listen, it's kind of a week. It's full moon week. And anytime there's a full moon, the moon is waxing, and it's getting brighter. Till it culminates, and it culminates on Thursday, and it's going to be in the sign of Aries. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot to think about, because I certainly have been doing that. I wish my intro was a little longer so I could slurp a sip of coffee in between. Y'all didn't hear that. Okay, so today is going to be about like the effects of these lunar functions. I am such a fan of the moon. I happen to be a Cancer, and so Cancers are ruled by moons, and so that makes a lot of sense that I am very sensitive to people's moons, and I study moons. I mean, I watch people. I can't imagine. It's like not knowing somebody's moon is like almost not knowing their sign, because whatever sign you are, like, and most of you know your signs, right? Whatever sign you are, your moon packs the wallop typically. And it's really fascinating, because the moon is the thing that sits in there and sort of is the beacon of need, of want, of unconscious motives, of the things that we are so drawn and compelled to in almost an unconscious way. The moon is so powerful. It represents the mother in a lot of ways in the chart. The mother has several representations, as does the father. And because it's so important, I think it's a mistake for us not to seek that moon, to know where the moon is. In fact, there is a thing and I never got to verify this except in playful ways, and it's a 50-50 thing, but it used to be, if you knew the day in which you were conceived, if you knew where the moon was, simple as this. If the moon was in a fire or air sign, you were conceiving a boy. And if it was in a earth or water sign, you were conceiving a biological girl. And it's like, so if you know the day of conception, that's conception day, okay? Sperm meets egg day. But that's how powerful the moon lore is. Also, the moon studies. I mean, when you look at a chart and you see that somebody is, there's the trilogy that we go after. One, the day you were born is always like, where was the sun that day? What constellation was the sun by? We're doing it as I know a lot of people are total Vedic people, like Eastern astrology. Put that aside. We're talking Western astrology right now. And so we do it by the seasons. And so a lot of you know what your sun sign is, but a lot of you don't really know the moon. And maybe you don't know exactly the time you were born or the day, but the moon moves pretty quickly. But usually if it's in a sign, you'll know if it's changing that day. Like today, the moon all day is in Pisces. You might have been born on a day where the moon was going to be all day in that sign. And so then you get a chance to know. Or if it changed, like tomorrow it's going to go into Aries, then you get to know what time does it change into Aries. And you get to know if you were born before that or after that to see if your moon was in Aries. But the moon is important because it's sort of telling us this pulse in you, this thing in you that drives you. And it is so fun and fascinating to study it. The way, I had this obsession with rising signs. And rising signs is so totally dependent on the time of birth. The rising sign is basically saying what was on the horizon when you were born. And that horizon, constellation-wise, changes every 2 hours. So it does matter what time you were born to get your rising sign. But the moon, we get a little more flexibility. And the rising sign is so powerful because it's sort of our defense, the first defense against the world. So whatever your rising sign is, that's what you use to go out into the world and introduce yourself. And if your rising sign happens to be exactly the same as your sun sign, like if you're a Libra with a Libra rising, man, what you see is what you get, people. There's no surprise there. But man, tick that up a little bit, change that rising sign just a little, and you see that if you were a Scorpio rising, but you were a Libra, man, it's going to take a minute to get to see who the Libra is in there, because the Scorpio it's a fixed sign that's going to have a ton of defenses of you getting in. And when your rising sign is a fixed rising sign, and let's go over those. Fixed is Scorpio, it's Aquarius, it's Taurus, and it's Leo. If you are one of those, now that's your rising sign, and only the part of you guys that know what time you were born are going to know that. And it will have to do with your business too. If you launch a business and it's a fixed sign as well, this rule applies to it as well. And that is, it takes a while to get to know you. Fixed rising signs, they don't let you by the gates. They don't let you get past the gates for a long time. Even though you think you know that person, and even though you think you're crazy about that person or you don't like that person, whatever, that rising sign doesn't care. It's what it is. And especially if it's in a fixed sign. So keep that in mind when you meet somebody. Like if you don't like somebody because you just met them and, ooh, I don't like them. I mean, first impressions matter for sure, but there is maybe a little, that could be their defense is so good that they're not going to let you see the beautiful gem inside. You haven't earned that right yet, especially if the rising sign's Aquarius or Scorpio, and even Leo. Yeah. I mean, Taurus is like, you can buy your way into a Taurus rising, right? So you guys, the same. Okay. So that's the rising sign. So the same with the moon. And daily we see this moon affect us. Today's the Pisces moon. How many of you have been the last day and today have been a little mushed out, like a little thinking about the past, a little carrying a little load of concern that you normally haven't carried? How many of you are doing that? How many of you have been thinking about how many of you have really enjoyed music this weekend, or really enjoyed something that seems that invoke a sort of nostalgia, or had a certain kind of compassion that you hadn't felt before, or a memory that you hadn't had before, or any of those things? Very Piscean. Okay. How many of you had a drug-induced weekend? Very Piscean. Oh, speaking of drug-induced, I have a friend who just underwent a very serious surgery. She has been having chemo for a while, and Friday was surgery day, and it was a huge success. And there's just, you can feel the weight, the joy, the sort of like this thing being lifted, like, oh, this is such good news. And it's so, I don't know, it's like whatever you hear about that journey for each individual person. And I know she had heard a lot of stories from people, doing the chemo journey. And she was terrified, and she was sure it was, not a good thing. And for her, it has been an amazing and extraordinary thing so far, knock wood. And she did, just so you all know, we have an acupuncturist in Denver that we adore. I mean, we've had him for years. He's a doctor for us, Dr. Shui, C-U-I. So I got to plug Dr. Shui. And also, after doing some research, she opted for extensive vitamin C therapy, where they IV in large doses of vitamin C, and they alternated it with a very powerful a vitamin. And that one won't come to me right away, but it's they alternated it. And I guess when you go to the vitamin C clinics, which this one was run by a physician, two doctors, they were very confident about the effectiveness. They were so, like, they talk about it like it's a curative. And I don't mean to get I just want to say, like, that was the journey. Okay. Everybody has their own. For her, the weird thing about when you have a couple of things that you're doing that are a little alternative other than, your chemo, you kind of don't know which to do. But Dr. Sui is profound. I mean, he is, I don't know how to explain it. He's just wise. He's very compassionate, but he's also extraordinarily efficient at what he does. He put his 3 fingers to read her pulse, and dear God, I mean, what he came up with was extraordinary. And he's very gentle, especially because she was, going through chemo. He didn't want to do the typical herbs. He wanted to more get her body in alignment. So, yay for her, yay for me. That took a load off. And just, I'm having a moment where I just so appreciate love and the love of people and the care of people. And that's a Pisces moon thing. See, I can get away talking about that with you because it's a Pisces moon. Now, some of you are like, ew, stop it, because that's also Pisces. It is a dual sign. It's like they say some people say the piranha or the goldfish, the yin or the yang. But basically, and Pisces need that. They need that defense system if they're going to survive. So basically, just to say, I'm having a moment of gratitude here. And since it's Canadian Thanksgiving, by darn, I am proud of it. So and with this, so please pay attention not only to your moon, because what's interesting is you see people, and I have it down. Like, I know if you have an air moon, your response is definitely unique to you. It's going to be different. I think air moons basically don't really know what they want. Honestly, I think the moon in air is so fickle that it's actually comical. And no offense to anybody. I mean, it's everybody gets equally abused here. But I do think it's like they're having a moment, and that moment will pass, and then it could easily be like, oh, squirrel, and another thing passes by, and it's that thing. So air moons, yay. I wish I had one. I have enough to do the distraction as well, but not my moon. Earthy moons have an interesting little place in the world, because if your moon is in Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, you basically can lock and load on specifically what you need and what you want. And truth be known, you don't shift until you get it. It's not just Tauruses, the fixed ones. That's not just you all. Capricorns are the same way. It is this or nothing. It is this. It is this or nothing. And Virgo, it's got to be this way or nothing, right? I mean, think about it. If you know those people with those moons, they're kind of pretty black and white. It's this or this. By element, you can nuance this a little bit as you get into the fixed signs or the cardinal signs or the mutable signs, depending on what earth you're in. But if you nuance it a little bit, you can play with it. But the essence of it is, I need to have it this way. I need to see this reality in this way. And what you'll find is they're often very Missourian about it. Like, I need to see it to believe it kind of thing. If they're the people who would do the catchphrase, well, I don't believe you because if you wanted it, you would have it. Okay, it's great. Okay. Fire moons. We have the Aries moon, we have the Leo moon, and we have the Sag moon. Okay, drama is a small part of it, which is really a big part of it. These guys need motivation. And what I notice with fire signs is the need. Notice I'm saying need motivation, and I mean that. I know several Sag moons, several Aries moons, and they can't do anything without a push, a fight, a push against, a push toward, a push, just if they're bored and somebody casually says, oh, I bumped into a friend, they're like, who bumped into you? They're ready to go, right? Or to tell a story. A lot of Sag moons you'll find tell a story that is way more aggrandized than the story actually, any story should be. And and Leo, you can see them wander if the story isn't about them. And so there is a few things that are kind of fun to see here. There is a certain kind of fiery engagement. What's the question for a fire moon is what's going to inspire me? What's going to move me? And I'm not implying that all Leo moons, it's got to be about them, but why not? I mean, why not? For them, it's they make it more interesting when it's about them, so why not give it to them? And then we have the watery moons, a gorgeous group of people that just seem to be loving in every way. I can hardly find a flaw in what they do. However, if you know watery moons, which would be a Cancer moon, a Pisces moon, or a Scorpio moon, you might find fixations that are just unbelievable. Things that they've attached to, or that they absolutely must have, or they're not going another step in that direction, and it could be anything. It depends on what they've attached to. It depends on what they've decided is their go-to. Now, what you see a lot in these signs is this easy to project in the water signs of moons, that it's easy to project onto anything. It's easy to project on a city. Like, if I could only live there. And they get there and this is truly kind of, I know I'm painting the grass is always greener picture, but it is kind of like that. If you know the water signs, there's an insane sense of feeling in them, and an emotional response they get from having things a particular way. And play with it. If you know, so if you did this with people that were bosses, like your boss, or people that were the supervisor or the manager, and you could see if you had any opportunity to get a hold of their moon, you would know what's driving them. And when you know what's driving somebody, it's really, really easy. And I'm speaking as a water moon. It's really easy to provide them that. Make it look like you're giving them that. Because if you can give somebody their moon, what are they? They're yours. They love you. They're like, oh, this feels good. Okay. So what would you give an Aries moon? Well, I think you'd give them a challenge. Stand up to them in a wink, wink way, but always think about, and this would be for fire moons in general, but always make it about it, that they are so important that this is easy for you to do. It will work. I promise you. And we We have to dedicate a show to this entire topic. And since we're having an Aries full moon come up, we're going to take a deeper dive into particularly the Aries fire moons. But in general, if you have an Aries moon, if you have a Leo moon, if you have a Sag moon, if you know somebody with those moons, making the conversation about them is not going to hurt at all. Not in the least. Okay, I'm sipping. Hold on. I also need to check on you guys. Time was weird today. I did everything in the same way I've always done it. This is the truth. I got up at the same time I get up. First thing I do is just throw my socks on, my pants, my shirt. This is the first thing I do. I don't brush my teeth. I don't do anything. I have this thing. We have a ritual with the dogs. I have a ritual with the dogs called "Give me your eyeballs." Let's get the eyeballs. And I have this tiny little comb, and I comb out their little eye stuff because I hate when I see dogs with that cluster of stuff in their eyes. So I always had that, and these guys are so used to it. This is what they were born with, and so they could jump on the bed and they hand me their faces, and it's so sweet. And I take their little eyes in the corner of their eye, and I take this comb and I gently, comb it out. That's the first thing. Then once I'm got my clothes on, my jacket, I put their harnesses on. They do that thing where they bow, they stretch their front paws really far so I can get them in the harness. And we go for our walk. And 90% of the time it's a 20-minute walk. There's a certain path I take. But today I said, we're going to do the longer walk, just a little longer. It's not that much longer, so everyone can efficiently, get rid of their business. And would you know, I got back and it was like, my show's on in 20 minutes? What? And that's kind of the experience it was for me. Like, okay, this is a little weird because I don't know how time happened like that. So that's where I'm like sipping coffee. Usually I have my coffee, I take a minute, I go over things. But today it was like, what happened? And that's so Piscean, I can't even begin to tell you. Okay, so I'm coming back into the room. I did a refresh and Facebook took me completely out. So I just want to say hi to any newcomers that have come in. Oh, there have been a few. Okay. I'm going to where it says most relevant. I'm changing that to all comments. And then as we scroll down, we will see Jennifer Lakshmi's in the house. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Jennifer's a psychic over at Astrologer as well. Really good one. 12listen.com. And we had some extraordinary sales. I hope you got to take advantage of the sales this weekend. I don't think I've seen prices so low for our advisors. I hope you all took advantage of it. Thanks for being here, Jennifer. Quelly, how you doing? Grand Rising, back at you. And then let's see here. Yeah, Quelly, thank you for asking, Jennifer. Jennifer asked Quelly how the post-storm situation is. Quelly, let us know how you're doing. I know you were worried about the storm. I hope you made it okay, and you're so sweet to be here in that. Judith, we do love our neighbors, says the Canadian born on Independence Day. I love it. Yes, I love it, and I'm so grateful I love that Canada is having this moment. Gwen, thanks for being here. Greetings. Coffee, good. It is so good. Erica, Erica's here from across the pond. Delighted to be back among the 1-2 energy. Just returned from Italy. Loving the show. Erica, you're so kind. Erica's one of those where my moon goes, I kind of want her life. Erica's an extraordinary psychic and advisor, an angel intuitive, a sound therapist. She has her own radio show at 1-2 Radio. God bless her. And Thursday mornings, check her out. If you haven't had a reading from Erica, it is extraordinarily magical because, just listen to her once. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's not just the accent, even though, Jesus, that's powerful. Audra, Cancer Moon in the 4th. Oh my. So you guys, the 4th house is also Cancer, so she's letting me know she's a double whammy Cancer Moon. And that's some serious mama energy for real. And I love that watery stuff. Of course, I'm being prejudiced here. You all know I'm 90% water. So what can I do? All of you that don't have it, I almost wish I said, next time I'm coming in. I'm serious. It's either air, I don't know, air or fire. I get the earth thing, really do, but I think I have done that a lot. Okay. Good morning, Mark and Jay. This is from Laura. I've been so sick, hoping it shifts with this full moon. Laura, please get better. It will make it shift. It's going to shift. Aries will kick its butt. We're going to go over where the planets are today and how you all can work with them as well. Tara, I almost definitely more like my Sag moon than my Capricorn sun, especially as I get older. Oh, interesting. You know, what's funny, as you get older as a Capricorn, you'll also get younger, and that will even increase even more. Judith, what about if you are pretty certain you were a twin and one of you didn't make it? I see each birth, even twins, as individual. Even though there must be probably a symbiotic connection, I do see each egg as being fertilized differently and separately, and each breath happens at a different time. It is interesting because I also think twins sometimes will do the thing where they are identical and they take on identical mannerisms and ways. And then I see the twins who are antithetical, where they actually, one's, a born again and one's a new ager and one's a Republican and one's a Democrat. Seriously opposite. And I can see that for a push for identity as well. So I don't know, Judith. Psychically, energetically, it might make a difference, but I take things pretty literal, like where they happen. Maya, good morning, Mark. Yes, hey, good morning, Maya. Linus, happy full moon. Thank you, Linus. Lynn, oh my God, Mark, you're so psychic. My dream is to ride in a hot air balloon. Oh my gosh, I wrote a children's book about the little girl in magic, and on the last page, she ends up in a hot air balloon. Lynn, that's not me being psychic. That's you being so present with who you are. That is so wild. Look at that. Oh, I hope you guys get to see her graphic in there. She wrote a children's book. Oh my God. This Scorpio, this is so Scorpio. So we don't know about Scorpios. Don't y'all ever doubt for a minute you know everything about a Scorpio. Way to go. I love that. Lynn, you got to tell us the name of the book. I love buying books just because I know y'all wrote them. Judith, Gordon Lightfoot soothed my soul. Yes, that's sweet. Linus says, fixed rising sign. You are right, Mark. Inga, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Inga. Audra, yay for traditional Chinese medicine. Double yay. Amen. I am so grateful to live in Colorado for that reason. The freaking available services. My first Rolfing session was in Colorado. Blew my freaking mind. And I got one of the original trainers from Ida Rolf. This guy, oh my God, it was so intense. You guys, I'd walk into the session and he measured me first, right? For heights. I grew 2 inches. But one session I went in and I could feel my stomach just like in knots, and he felt it too. And he goes, you know what? Maybe we should skip this session. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And he goes, yeah, he was saying that the practitioner ties in so deeply with the person. And he knew, like, today isn't a good day, but oh my God, they go up in your sinuses. I guess it's number, 8? Isn't that the one? They take their little pinky way the fuck up your nose. Oh dear God. And stretch it out. It's crazy. I'm so grateful I did that. But here, Colorado, available. And then we met Dr. Sui, who was the dearest soul with the best advice and the kindest heart. Grateful. I remember I thought I had AIDS. I did. For somebody as like sort of asexual as I am. I thought I was so sick. I got the flu so bad in not this last June. This was 20 years ago. I got this flu so bad. I was like freezing. I remember it was 90 out and I was like so freezing. And then when it went away, I was weak. I just was weak. And I went to this acupuncturist because Dr. Sui, I don't forget why I didn't see Dr. Sui at the time, but this guy was close and open. And I went because I'm like, I'm feeling on my deathbed. And I said, I am so sick. Can you just tell me, do I have AIDS? They laughed. And this was a woman. I can't remember her name. And she said, no, you don't. But take this. And she gave me these herbs after she treated me called Clear Heat. Dear God, I was such a joyful man to be around after that. I was so happy to be alive. I thought I was dying, but I was like it. And ever since then, I was like, acupuncture, you rock. You just rock. And Dr. Sui was an essential part of that. And got my friend who had the chemo, acupuncture got her pregnant. She had endometriosis. She conceive, acupuncture, boom. And that's why it was an easy sell for her to see Dr. Sui. Okay. Judith, wow. Moon in Gemini reminds me of an Airedale named Seamus. His owner said he was an Airedale, an airhead. Oh, cute. Adorable airhead, though. That's so good. Airhead. I love it. Good morning and happy Monday, Mark. Late as usual, but guess that I'm consistent. Pamela, you're so adorable. There's no such thing as late. It's just so sweet that you even take the time to get here. Good morning, Mark and friends. Libra moon for me moon. That's Terry. I love that. I love that graphic. That is so 60s fun. Libra moons. I have so many Libra moon friends. I feel for you guys. I feel so bad. They're pretty lies. I call them pretty lies because because what happens is they feel they need to keep the peace. They just want to keep the peace. This drive to keep the peace. That's what I notice in the Libra moons I know. And I'm just like, oh, that's so tough to do. So congratulations. Very sweet. I mean, I get it. I just don't do it. Are you jumping frequencies? Audra, are you jumping frequencies? I'm probably. Good morning, Mark and everyone. I've missed you. Happy to be here. It sucks to have to work on Mondays. Karen, welcome. I'm glad you're off today. It's so good to have you in the house. One of our resident Virgos for sure. Hi, Joni. Thank you, dear Mark. I love to hear more about moons. Love your insight. You're the dear one. I like that. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'll have more to say about moons. You know me. Anita is in the house. Oh my God. Anita, welcome. Thank you for being here. That's so sweet of you to be here. Anita's another advisor, one of the most multi-talented people I know. I won't even give her away on what she does, but she does everything. It's crazy in her life. And hopefully Anita, someday I hope you'll come back to radio. You had a fascinating show and you're always fascinating to listen to. And also an insanely good advisor. All our advisors are crazy good. And I'm not just saying that, you guys. They're here. We put them through hell. And Anita's been with us for almost 17 years. So that's just such a statement. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's look at this moon thing. If the moon is pulsing what you need, if the moon is in you and sort of like affecting you, imagine what the moon in the sky is doing. So today it's like a weather pattern, right? So we're all experiencing a Pisces moon. Some of us are going to love it, just like if it was a snow day. Some of us are going to love the snow and some of us are going to hate it, but you're in it. And this Pisces moon thing, this is where I do feel a freedom to free associate, to sort of go with the flow. But the problem is sometimes you don't know how far you've flown. The flow went. And you can actually feel people that you don't know you're feeling. You could be a little too much over in somebody's business. In the early days of John and I, John used to say, would you get back in your own lane? I mean, just get the hell off my energy. And it would be like, but why are you feeling so bad? Can you imagine having a little gloomy water sign and you're all air? And you got this water sign going, but I feel you're angry. It's like, the more you bring it to their attention, and I've so learned this, I'm so grateful for it. The lesson, hellish lesson. But the more you try to analyze it for an air sign or a fire sign, those masculine signs, that's what they're called, because they're more active and less reactive, where earth and water respond to the air and fire, initiate, like they go. And so when you're one of the earth and water signs looking at a fire and air sign, it's dreadful for them to hear an analysis of what they're doing, what they're feeling, what their motive is. It's like nobody wants that. Okay? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants you to bring to their awareness, ooh, you're doing this, and you're probably right. They're probably doing it. But to bring it to their awareness is the problem instead of using it. And that's the problem. We don't know how to bring an insight in and use it for ourselves. The insight's for you. So to throw it in somebody else's face, like, I know what your motive is. And I did this. I was the worst store owner. I was. People would come in. I've told you this a million times. And I'm like, they're all so angry. And John went, that's fear. And they don't need to know that. You need to see, use it. And that's why that constant training, because people would come in and they're just scared. But me, Mr. like in my own little domain world, oh my God, I would never do that. I'd never walk into a store and just look away. And of course, that's all I ever do. But I couldn't self-reflect at the time. But I was like, they're so mean. I'm so nice. What's the problem? And so it took a while for me to understand, shut the hell up about showing people what they're feeling, telling people what they're doing, especially when you have a lot of Scorpio in you. Here's the curse of Scorpio. You think that what they're doing is being done deliberately. You think they know what they're doing, whoever it is. So you accuse them in your mind. Oh, that's just show-offy. That's just, now I would say that's just virtue signaling. I think everything's virtue signaling now. I had to, since I was insulted with the word when I first came back to Facebook, and I hated that phrase, and now I'm using it everywhere. I'm like, even to my computer where it goes, we have a big update. And I'm like, that's just virtue signaling. So anyway, that's my new thing temporarily. I'm sure I'll get rid of it. But we, as a Scorpio, and if you have a lot of water in you and you're feeling people and you know what their motive is, you're an idiot to bring it to them. Sorry. I mean, you're not really an idiot. I shouldn't say, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, don't do that. Don't give your hand away. Use it. Okay, now you know the person's not telling you the truth. Now, the second phase is it because they're deliberately withholding the truth, or have they hid it from themselves? Good investigative work would get you there in 3 minutes just to understand. Are they showing off because they're scared, or are they showing off because they think you're less than them? I mean, whatever. You can play with it, but use your wisdom. Use what you know. And this is the intuitive part. And this is Pisces. So when we're in this Pisces moon, today, if you go out and you feel weird about somebody, and this is the other thing, you're picking up a weird vibe from somebody. Okay? Now, your mind immediately is going to summarize that person as not good. Dangerous. Very dangerous. Instead of just the observable fact, I'm picking up something weird. Now, weird for you could be because it reminded you of something that happened when you were a child, and you have all your baggage to go through. It could be that the person's really weird, or it could simply be a neutral thing that's happening and you're having an experience, but you need a place to put it. Observe. All it is be an observer. What are you looking at? What's happening? Now, how many people have gotten judged? I told you, I have so many stories I retell. I know I do. But remember, a little girl ran into the store. We were having not a party, but an open house. And a little girl ran. It was a psychic fair. And the little girl ran in, the cutest girl I'd ever seen. She must have been 2. And I got on my knees and I was like, oh my gosh, who are you? You were so adorable. And she was giggling. I was making her laugh. And she turns around real quick and hits the knee of a person standing behind her and cries. And I was like, oh dear, I'm so sorry, honey. And we're walking to the front door. Well, in walks her mom. And her mom went, I knew this place had bad energy. And she grabs her daughter and leaves. No, thank you. No, nothing. No, what happened? And it was like, wow. And that's what I'm talking about. So we can do confirmation bias where you believe something and now that's all you can see, right? I think we're all so guilty of that. It's like that. We think it's metaphysical when you decide you're going to buy that Prius and now all you see are Priuses. That's confirmation bias. Psychologically, it's just a phenomenon where because that's in your mind, that's what your mind sees. When it notices, like it'll see every other car too, but the mind registers that one. That's confirmation bias. So if you're sure you're out in the world and you're now this like barometer of what is bad, and you get a bad feeling standing next to somebody, I think confirmation bias is like, ooh, that person's got bad energy, right? What is bad energy, really? I mean, we've seen a lot of movies. We know that there is bad energy, but I mean, chances are that person you feel a bad vibe from is just a projection from you. Nothing about them at all. And you would do us a service, yourself a service, me a service. I would do it to myself and you a service if we might just confirm it's a weird feeling and not conclude anything about it. Oh, I'm having a weird moment. This is weird. It's you. it's helpful. And it sort of promotes kindness, right? We get a little bit of, and that's some advice under this Pisces moon for you. Like, chill a little bit, feel your energy, take note that everything in your life is a projection. Everything, okay? Projection makes perception. Everything you think. That person lives in a better place than me. I mean, I have watched myself be envious of some of the worst situations for somebody in the world, just be envious. Weirdly, like, oh my God, look, they have that talent. That's so good. Or they have love around them. That's so good. Whatever. And it's so important to recognize that is a part of me that is throwing that out onto them. And so in me, the love that I'm seeking, that I think they got, that's in me. And I know that sounds cliche. It isn't if you take it all the way. Like, we probably do have everything we want. We can want for more, but man, it's like, if you started taking an inventory of kind of how lucky you are, even though some things you didn't get, some things you did, you might be surprised, right? Maybe not everybody here listening, because you guys are rock stars and you're so, I don't know, you're so conscious. It's such a beautiful group of people, but for some people, it's tough to do. They project that stuff all over the place. Okay, I'm checking the room real quick, you guys. All right. Laura says, feeling better already. I'm so glad. Judith, that is very helpful, Mark. Thank you. I was afraid I had something to do with the other twin leaving. Oh. Judith, that's so, I get it. I can't even imagine. Tiffany popping in at 8:26. Lost my job on the search again. What happened? Oh, Tiff, that's amazing. Well, maybe not a loss, but an opportunity, says Gwen. You didn't lose it. You know where it is. You just have somewhere else to be. I love it. We can sort of like wordsmith that a lot. And Tiff, I'm sorry. I know you're a Virgo. I hope you aren't blaming yourself. Let's see what you had to say about that. I'm trusting it's all for a higher reason. Scared to not have money to pay my bills in the meantime, though. Trying to trust and trying. Okay. So Tiffany, yeah, I have no doubt about this cycle for you. Going to be amazing. And, good luck. I mean, I know you're worried. You're too gifted to not have somebody love what you do. I have complete faith in that. So good luck. Lynn says, thanks so much, Mark. My children's book is called A Wrinkle and a Twinkle and a Zip. How cute is that? Lenny Sue's Great Alaskan Adventure. Oh my God. P.S. My fabulous illustrator is my nephew's best friend. I just got to take all that in. That's just, okay. A Wrinkle and a Twinkle and a Zip. Lenny Sue's Great Alaskan Adventure. Oh my God, this is so good. By Lynn Sue Goldberg. Look at that. Lynn, thank you. Good luck. You guys, let's support it. Buy this little book. It's adorable. It's going to be so readable for all ages. I just know that. And I can't wait to see it and hold it in my hands. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Pamela says, Scorpio Sun, Aries Moon. First action of my day is to tell myself to chill out. Not bad advice, Pam. Mark, I'm over here laughing. You always crack me up. Virtue signaling. Everything virtue signals me. I tell you, Lynn, it's crazy. Judith, could you imagine a sitcom based on Mark the Crabby Monkey running a psychic shop? Oh my God. That's so funny. Call in the script writer, call in all the writers, the funny people, set designer. Hey, I think I just found myself a winter project just in case we get snowed under. Judith, I have so thought running a psychic store would be one of the best sitcoms ever. Can you imagine just the people, the crazy people? And that's beyond the people that work there. Just the type of customers coming in. So much to work with there. Hi, Laurie. Welcome. Good to see you. Laurie Love, she has the show after Kat. Kat Nicholson is on after me. Psychic Kat. Boy, she is psychic too. She's been, when you work around psychics, it's a joy because we all know we've sort of faced the world together as certain things and judgments against people that people have. And as an astrologer, I was thinking like, I'm the pariah of the family, of my big family. I mean, there were 8 aunts and uncles. My mother had 8 brothers and sisters, and my dad did too. And they all had children, right? I was the youngest of all the grandchildren on my mom's side. They're just all like traditionally successful and da-da-da. So I'm the astrologer. And I remember I hadn't seen this aunt that I love in so long. And when it was at my dad and mom's 70th anniversary, right before, he died, right before he died. And I went to my aunt who I loved, and I have memories. I remember everything, like the crib. I mean, when you're a water sign, you kind of have, the memories are insane. You're the record keeper for the family. And I went up to her, and I remembered spending the night at her house, and her husband having this playful argument about throwing water from the glasses, and then just sharing with her, like, I have such fond memories of you. And she goes, "What is this about astrology?" And I said, I love it. She goes, "This is from your mom. This is your crazy mom, isn't it?" And she wouldn't let up. And I was like, oh. And I was adult enough to know, like, oh, you're so used to this. And so I'm not playing, like, I wasn't playing a violin. I was just like, not you too. And so I said, yeah, I love it. It helps me really understand people. It's what my book is based on. She said, "Do you have a copy of the book?" And my uncle turned away because he was disgusted. And I said, "Yeah, I do, actually. I'll get you one." And I went and got her a copy. I just happened to have 10 in the car. And she said, "Oh, it's a niche thing. Okay, I think I can understand that." And I don't know what that means basically. But the point is, we have our whole life stood up against the oncoming, radar of other people and traditional values versus non-traditional values. And I have to say, I'm not for too woo-woo. I don't like to get too far out there. I don't like when people come and say, "I'm reading your energy and here's what I found." And it's like, no, I don't want to hear it, because I'm too susceptible to that stuff. So I really care about when information comes out, which is why I think we have a good service. But point is, Cass on next. And when you have psychic people that you work for, you have, they do support you in really terrific ways. Like, we understand the need for support. So if you ask for it, they reach out with a tender sort of power that you feel is just so appreciated. And you all do that here. I can see it among each other and for me. And, we just hold a space that's sort of like, we get it, and we don't want to infringe, and we're all sort of super sensitive about all that. But yeah, it's just one of those things that we do. And so it makes me thinking about this whole Pisces moon thing and psychic energy and us being protected. Now, let's move a little ahead, because I know I can digress a lot. But let's just talk a little bit about what's up and coming, because this stuff is really important. Chiron is going to be a part of that full moon. And that full moon is happening Thursday morning. It's the same day that Venus will change signs from Scorpio into Sag. What that means is basically a lot of healing opportunity. If you've been in a relationship, if you've been in a situation where you kind of have some angst about another person or a situation, this is an opportunity, this full moon, to call forth a healing moment. Whatever you want to call it, whatever the riff is, whatever the trouble is, whatever the struggle is. Tiffany, your job. This is a time to not only note the gratitude, and this is so important for a Virgo, to note the gratitude of where you are. Get out of the blame game. Get out of any of the analysis if you can really help it. And ask for the healing to occur. Ask for like the healing of the mind. Ask for the healing of the circumstance. Ask for this growth to really be something you can crack through. And the reason I'm saying it that way is because Chiron is in the mix of this full moon. Chiron is at 21 Aries. The moon will be at 24. And so those two together can bring a gift that's pretty consequential. Remember my Magi book, when we talk about Chiron, we talk about the single most important planet to them in the whole astrological chart. I don't agree 100% with that, but it is important. So what we get an opportunity to do, not only with this full moon in Sag, Venus is leaving Scorpio. We stop digging. We stop digging in on the muck underneath, and we start lifting our heads up. We start seeing the opportunity that comes from hope, that comes from lifting our heads up, our shooting the arrow into the air and wondering where it will land, that kind of hope. And we get to do that on the full moon, Thursday. We can do it before, right? But it's easier when you're in the flow. And the flow, when you're going with the flow of the waters, this flow is saying, man, you are going to be able to lift your head up. Venus in Sag, good luck, charm coming through. And if you know where Sag is in your chart, if you know where Aries is in your chart, those are the points. Those are going to hit. Those are going to trine. And so we've got this beautiful fire energy coming, and I really think nothing to worry about. Now, worry is just, worry is what you could do if you just want to ruminate. Or you can take that same energy and sort of like start, for every worry, attach a thing of gratitude. Just counter it. Just counter it. Just counter it. And you fight that. Fight the fear as much as possible. We know, looking on the outside, looking in, anybody can know that the circumstances for all of us are going to be okay. We can do that. We can do that with people pretty easily, but you can change the reality by doing that too. So we'll get into that in a minute. But the most important thing, using this full moon to heal an ailment, to heal a thing that's been crippling you, you don't want to walk around angry and scared, right? Nobody does. So if you're doing that, then you want to go after what's making you angry and scared by believing there's another thing here that you're not seeing, believing that there's something more important, something more loving. And it's a choice you make, right? Trust is a choice. What you decide to look at in your life, it's a choice. Now, Mars is in Cancer. This is a big one. The things that we love it's like the things that we will fight for are our safety, our security, the things that we need and love. Those are the things that we're going to fight for. Mars in Cancer, this is a big one because Mars is the ruler of Aries, that moon. So we know there's going to be this tie-in to fighting for our well-being. And so that's our mission this week. It's fight for the well-being. I remember the light bulb going off in my head when I told myself the ruler of the full moon is Mars and Mars is in Cancer. Like, ooh, this is good. This is good. Because now we're going to fight for the things we love and the things that we need and the things that we hold dear. And one of the things we hold dear is security and our people and our families and our sense of community. We hold those things dear, so we protect them. And that's what I think we're going to all find. Now, I'm going to hit refresh here real quick, you guys. See how you're doing. Make room for Kat coming on board. We will have sales this week at 1-2. I hope you'll give us a try. And the Power Peak password this week is thanks. That means we're having... that means you must know the address to get the Power Peak from, too. MarkHusson.com will work. And then I'm scrolling down real quick just to make sure you guys are good. Let's see. Karen wants to write the script for the show. I'm telling you, that show's going to kick butt. I mean, anybody that thinks about the characters of a New Age store, isn't that amazing? That's so sweet, you guys. It tickles me. B. Harato. B. I'm in a niche career too. People get angry with me sometimes, but some people love what I do. It's interesting. P.S. It's earthen architecture. Ooh. Now you got me all like, yeah. I love that. Good job. So I so appreciate that you can relate to the sort of niche industry when you just follow your love and follow your own path. And we're all told, do what you love, follow your path. And those of us that did it and it wasn't the path of the traditional, because all my relatives, all the extended relatives that have nothing to do with me are super wealthy. And so, I find gratitude somehow, and maybe that's my own, in the inverse of virtue signaling. I find gratitude in that I didn't take on the thing that made me a multi-gazillionaire. I don't want those problems. And I feel rich in so many ways, but, I don't know. Maybe it was just somebody who doesn't have appreciating what they don't have because they can't have it. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you, I do feel less of a burden when I project what I imagine what they're going through. I think you all know what I mean. Wow. Judah said, do they ever? Amazing care. Even just being in the room and listening to any show pretty much of the time, they're all amazing. Amen. For the radio host, God bless you. That's so sweet, Judith. Thank you. Catherine, hi, Mark. Thankful for the full moon info. Ultra Libram with Chiron and Aries. Oh my gosh, Catherine, this will be good. Let us know unless it's very personal, but there's some healing going on, and you guys, it doesn't hurt to do a candle. We lit a candle for my friend. Because back in the days of the store, lighting a candle to hold an intent was so helpful to anchor the intent in, and how the candle dripped mattered for us, right? And this candle, not a single drop. And we were like, oh my gosh, I think the surgery is going to be easy. I mean, not that a drippy candle would mean anything. I think the intent is everything, but we used it. We used all the information to sort of self-fulfill our own prophecy of hope and goodwill, because we get to do that, right? You guys, thank you so much for being a part of my day and my beautiful journey. You make my journey beautiful. You really do. I am so happy about the week unfolding. We'll have so much more to talk about. I'm so glad I got my little mixer, and it works, and you guys hear me, and you can hear every time I clear my throat, but you have no idea how grateful I am to be with you. We're going to play a little bit with time. I keep getting this fantasy, having a second show where I can have guests and, later in the week or something like that. So I play with that just to be a part of everything happening. So, we'll see. You all put me in such good moods. I'm willing to do it 7 days a week. And then I hang up and I go, oh, I got a million things to do. Bless you all. Happy full moon. Stay tuned for the amazing Kathleen Nicholson, for her intuitive hour. She will do readings in the room, you guys. It's kind of amazing. And then, we got Laurie Love. We have Jamie Dawn, and then we have Sarina. Crazy lineup on Mondays. Okay. And they're all extraordinary. Not unlike you. All right. Mark Husson signing out.